Hello. Hi. So we have an issue. We need to find a way to get 6 outputs equally distributed into 5 inputs. We produce that. I mean, I'm considering. Problem is, you might be wondering. Okay, my initial idea is to take 5 of them and run them straight in, and then take 1 and distribute to 5 pellets. So we gotta find a way to make a distribution network. So here's the thing. So if I put 1 of these right here, then 100% goes to there, if it's connected. We're gonna assume if it's all connected. If I put right there, then 50% goes here, 50% goes to there. So now we got 6 outputs. We could, of course, do right here. So like to see 1 out of 3 chance to go here, 1 out of 3 chance to go here, and 1 out of 3 chance. So 1 out of 3, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6. That's not distributed. Simply isn't. I'm even thinking about making a different thing where I just I need to make a thing where I essentially just combine all these into one thing. We do need to do some electrical work with this machine unit up here, but we'll do that in no time. My beautiful facility. Jesus Christ! So last episode, we built these manifolds up here. So all we gotta do is connect the manifolds together. And I know it's kind of weird how we're kind of like building part of a project, moving and keeping and rotating. Don't worry, we got this. But we're hello viewer. So I was gonna combine these two manifolds into like two belts, but we're actually gonna use 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're gonna get 3 in here. We're gonna get a 3 to 4 distributor, which is great because we've built a 3 to 4 distributor before in the construction of Crater Lake's generating facility. Also, my experiment over here is going with a flawless success, as even if it did run out theoretically, it should have run out. If this was my refinery, it would run out by now. Now this is a smaller base system, and the bigger a system will get, the more complications could occur. So we just gotta be aware of that. That could be what is it? That word, like a farce. Honestly, I'm not good. I think, in my opinion, I might save myself more time if I run. For example, collect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then group these into pairs. Like that, have 10 belts go up and group them into pairs of 2, and go for a 5 to 5 system instead of a 6 to 5, which I could do, but I want this to be distributed equally. So honestly, I think we should try to do that. So I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna make a gamble here. Actually, I'm gonna do it with this side because that side has more stuff on it. If you guys get where I mean, like, you know, it's got like the collection network. So we're gonna belt these bad boys up. So I'm gonna group them into groups of 3. Actually, let's do some math here. So we gotta make 60. So we gotta make 180. 180. 360. 360 cans a minute. That can actually supply. Actually, for every one of these, we have 30. Yeah, we have 30 of these. Each refinery needs one unpacker, or a one packer to unpack all that fuel. So that actually, we do have that. We do have that. But yeah, we're gonna do this. We're doing this. Look, I would probably I could do the complex math and use least common multiples. I don't mind that, but honestly, I'm not on a little bit of a time crunch here. I'm not doing that. We're gonna build this shit no matter what we think. You know, this looks bad how it clips, but I actually might just... I'll probably decorate later. No spaghetti today. I am quitting. When I mean by quitting, I am not doing a 6 to 5 distributor. We're just gonna combine them into 10, and then combine those 10 into groups of repairs into 5. Then we're gonna send these 5 up to the top. We have built the manifold. Oh, by the way, wish me luck. I get to develop. I might be able to become a wind turbine technician by the end of the week. I did an interview and I think I crushed it. I asked them questions revolving the model. I think I might be working on the GE 1.5 SLE. They are probably, I think my research indicates, the most common turbine. Well, thank you. And trust me, if you don't, I think you probably have seen one before. The GE 1.5 SLE is one of the workhorse turbines of America. And it's one of the most common units ever built. Hell, so common, I look out my window and I find 100 of the bastards. This exact same one, right here. It's got the hood at the back, it's got a little hole at the bottom, it's got the intake in the front, and it's got these 3 caps on it. Also, I found something funny. I asked them why their hub caps keep falling, or hub hatches keep falling off. Apparently, the hatch barely engages. Oh yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you, he doesn't know anything about wind, well, technically they're wind turbines. Windmills make grain and pump water. Turbines make energy. He doesn't know anything about wind turbines, and has a huge lack of scientific literacy. Also, there is one. Yeah. They want to. Well, here's the thing. I will say, like the only criticism I can say is, yes, there is diesel that. Hold on. Is that gonna pierce right through? Meh. You know what? This game has literal solid liquid masses that talk to you in your brain. I think reality is not a concern if it clips a little bit through this buffer. By the way, I would love to announce a great success. The experiment of the buffer end is working, but I'm a little bit mildly skeptical. As what do you call it? As that is a smaller system, and a bigger system equals bigger problems. And by the way, I got to see the inside. Or I got to see a couple of pieces from the turbine. The motors, to steer them and like make them go, they're like that big. And the computer that controls the entire turbine for that model, well, I'm like, what's this cabinet? And the guy literally pulls out a little box and opens it, and the thing that controls it is that big. This big. Smaller than my head. And I'm like, that little thing controls 40 tons of steel and fiberglass composite. Nuts. And I might be able to get a couple parts from there. Like, I think he gives away like oil drums that he uses for the lubrication. He even gives away, he might even be able to, I think he even offered me a bunch of electronics, like e-waste. Imagine if I started like a side gig harvesting all that e-waste and refining it into gold. The only way it's worth it to turn e-waste into gold scrap, you have to have a ton of it, or else you just blow your money. But if you don't know, gold is contained, a very small amount of gold is contained inside of circuit boards. Gold does not tarnish and is heavily conductive. Not as conductive as copper. But yeah, gold doesn't rust or corrode or rot. So again, like your phone, your little devices that you're talking to me right now on the stream, yeah. You know, I heard a theory? I heard a theory that Caterium might be gold, but they named it Caterium to prevent pioneers hoarding the material. I will say, though, Caterium, it conducts, what's it called? Actually, let's go let Ada repeat this. Let's go, what does Ada say about it?
Unknown chemical element collect. Unknown crystalline.
Unknown.
Unknown metal collected. This metallic element is showing properties similar
Group
to those
11.
in Group 11 on the periodic table, such as high conductivity and
Malleability. That
research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
That is very, very, very on point with gold. Gold is a heavily malleable metal. You can bend it and you can even hammer it into sheets that are atoms thick. Gold is also extremely conductive in thermal and electrical energy and does not tarnish. Let's see, periodic table. Group 11. Let's see, ready for this? Let's count. So a period is a row and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yup, there it is. Correct. Gold sits on group 11. So does silver, copper. Huh. That's very interesting. Look at that. I did not notice that on the periodic table. Copper, silver, and gold are stacked on top of each other. And all three of those elements are unnaturally, or not unnaturally, they are very conductive. I mean, silver, gold, and copper are some of the most conductive materials on Earth. In fact, silver and gold is used in a lot of electronics because silver, again, is very heavily conductive. So, the only three options are copper. We can rule this out because copper presents itself in raw form as a malachite color. In fact, raw copper is known as malachite. And it is a nice greenish color, so we can rule this out. Silver, of course, is gray. And of course, gold is a beautiful color of yellow. Now, could this be could this be another element? No, because here's the thing. The other element is Rontgenium, but Rontgenium is what's called a transuranic. Anything that is transuranic is synthesized. It is never found in nature. So anything after uranium, any of the transuranics are completely man-made. You can't find it in nature. So, because of this, Rontgenium, or whatever it's called, essentially yes. So, therefore, I must assume that Caterium has to be some sort of gold. But, here's my question. Is it maybe a compound? If you don't know, a compound is a group of chemical elements. For example, the most common being water. I think that's most common. A compound is a group of two or more elements. Water, hydrogen peroxide, oxygen gas, and more. There are a lot of compounds in this planet. So honestly, I feel like if I had to be completely honest with you, what the hell? Shit. And by the way, if we can't use Rontgenium or Rontgenium. Rontgenium, it's easily that's named after the scientist with the last name Röntgen, who specialized in radiation measurements. Now, also, yeah, he's the name, or he is the scientist who named the Röntgen. That was a unit of radiation measurement for a very long period of time in, like, Europe and the Soviet Union until they transferred over to the sievert, which, in my opinion, is a way better measurement. But Röntgenium, what is the most stable form of Röntgenium? I don't know, but a lot of those elements, especially in the triple-digit marks, they literally destroy themselves immediately. So Röntgenium is not natural. You cannot find it on the Earth. It is made in a lab. Like, for example, oganesson, which is the biggest element we can make, we've only made, like, 5 atoms. Possibly 5 atoms, actually. We don't even... We made at least 4. We could have made 5. Just think about that. Oganesson is so radioactive that the half-life is so short, it's like 7 milliseconds. So it literally just evaporates almost as soon as you make it. But let's say Röntgenium is actually possible. We can find Röntgenium in our environment. Let's say we can do that. What is its most stable isotope? Now, what I mean by that, the most stable isotope refers to an isotope of a periodic element that is the least, or I should say, like, the least radioactive, most stable. So, for example, like, the least stable form of radium, I'm pretty sure, is radium-222, or I don't know exactly what it is, but the least stable isotope of radium has a half-life of 1,200 years. And by the way, 1,200 years, that is the most stable, or no, most stable isotope, I meant to say. Most stable isotope is the least radioactive. Radioactivity is essentially just known as instability. Atoms can get so big where they just literally... Like, let's say, take atoms as a person. Imagine if the atoms were people, right? They get fat. They get big. What do they want to do, right? They want to get rid of that weight. They want to chuck it. So you know what they do? You know what atoms do? They take this weight. You know how to get rid of it? They take a section and just... And they chuck that weight off into space. Congratulations. A particle of radiation has just formed. A particle that travels extremely fast. Like a bullet and rips through anything at the subatomic layer. Hell, the reason radiation is so bad, it literally destroys you molecularly. And not just that, radiation can also kill robotics. High amounts of radiation on unshielded robotics can absolutely cook the circuitry behind them. I'm pretty sure this happened in Chernobyl when when the Soviets attempted to get what's called the Joker from Germany. But here's the thing. They lied to the Germans about, or they didn't specify the radiation readings to the Germans. And so therefore the Joker, when it got onto the ceiling, it just died almost immediately. Because if they told the Germans the radiation that they're dealing with, the Germans would be sus about that. Gosh. But let's say the most stable isotope of Röntgenium, a synthetic super heavy, highly radioactive transition metal. So transition metal, like something like irons, something like copper, gold, silver, rubidium, platinum. Where would we be without the transition metals? Literally, if you delete transition metals, you delete humans, because again, iron. which, fun fact, a staggering 6% of the Earth's crust is made of iron. So if you take 100 cubic meters of just Earth, of this crust, actually not just Earth, but if you took a random 100 cubic meters out of the Earth at any random point, just any cubic meters, on average, 6 of those 100 will be iron. I doubt we even have harvested. We probably haven't even harvested like 5% of this Earth's iron, because of course, yes, I'm going through an autistic nerd out right now, but I'm pretty sure our core is made of like half iron and nickel. Our core and outer core is made of huge amount of iron. So, of course, a radioactive material on this game is uranium. Why I asked you about the interview. So uranium is a very natural element, and it is found almost everywhere in nature. You would without even knowing it, if you even are exposed to igneous rocks, you have literally been exposed to uranium. However, this exposure to uranium is very, very minute, and humans have evolved defense mechanisms to repair cells damaged by uranium. So we have a microscopic immunity to uranium, but too much of it will destroy us. Uranium is primarily an alpha emitter, so it emits a lot of radiation, but this radiation usually is alpha and non-penetrative. However, if you get radium, or if you consume uranium and get it inside your body, this alpha has no shield it has to go through and will wreak havoc on your body. This is why the radium girls died rapidly. Alpha is the most energetic particle for radiation. And when it gets inside your body, like it does when you swallow like radium, like when the radium girls swallowed it, well, it unleashes all of its energy on you. The reason radium is so toxic is that radium is in the same group as calcium. So the body thinks that, hey, look, this is calcium. So it takes radium in, and what happens is it literally degrades your bones. It withers them. Turns it into a honeycomb structure. And by the way, you might want to mute this for the next 10 seconds. It is so bad that it'll radiate your skull so bad you can pull your jaw off with your fingers. Radium is absolutely horrifying. Also, again, by the way, radium was used as a quack medicine. Radium water called Radithor. Radium creams. Even patches of radium, you literally... I'm not joking you, this is disgusting. They literally even sold radium patches that you put under your genitalia. I'm not kidding you. One of the worst spots to get radiation in, and you're just strapping radium to it. I have one radium clock, and no more, because radium produces a natural byproduct called radon. It is a radioactive noble gas. And you have to ventilate anything with a ton of radium clocks in it. The clocks themselves used to glow, but unfortunately due to the radioactive degradation of the sulfur... What is it? Like zinc sulfide? It has since... They never glow. Unless they are exposed to UV light, which they will glow and hold their glow for about 5 to 10 seconds until they dissipate again. I think it was estimated that in the Second World War, I think up to 4 out of every 10 US soldiers had a radium watch. The horrifying thing is, the men that worked in the basement below dealing with radium, they knew it was dangerous. They knew how toxic it was. I mean, like, uranium is something else. Like, it's everybody. But radium is just a devil. I tell you, a devil. Radium is up to 1,000,000 times more radioactive than uranium. A safe amount of radium is not even able to be seen by the naked eye. Again, in terms of nasty elements, radium is definitely one of the top 10 or even top 3 nastiest elements. Like, you could say, like, plutonium is bad because plutonium is also radioactive, very radioactive, much more than uranium, and it just spontaneously combusts. Yeah, plutonium just gets pissed. It just burns and catches on fire out of absolutely nowhere, making it a pain to deal with. It's also illegal to own in the United States, which, I don't care. Get that shit away from me. Ugh. It is also a transuranic material being largely synthesized. It's because most plutonium that was made after the Big Bang has now... Or, Big Bang has since decayed away and turned into things like lead or bismuth. I think the scariest part of radiation is that it's just invisible. And even the amount of... No matter the advancements in medical technology that we have, like, if you get, like, severe radiation poisoning, you're cooked. Like, if you were, like... There's this one Japanese man who dumped uranium into a cylindrical pot, and he got blasted, and he had to live for 80 days. And his skin literally teared away, his blood cells were gone, meaning that... Or his white blood cells were completely gone, meaning that a simple flu infection would kill him in minutes or hours. His blood lost the ability to clot. Like, you're done. You're not coming back from that. But it's not something to be feared. Something to be respected. Take a excavator. An excavator can kill a man easily. Bury him. Hide him. But it is a necessary machine that we need in our industry. Radiation must not be feared, but respected for its danger it can cause. Remember, TDS. Time, distancing, and shielding. Least amount of time, most amount of distance, most amount of shielding. Think about your radiation absorption as a budget. You can only absorb a certain amount of radiation per year before you're not allowed to absorb anymore. I think for nuclear workers, your limit is about 50 millisieverts a year, which it's very difficult. You get 10 microsieverts, and 1,000 microsieverts is a millisievert. The most radioactive X-ray is apparently the mammogram at 400 microsieverts. For reference, you need 2 million microsieverts in a short burst, or relatively short time frame to kill you. And Earth, the background is 0.06. Very low. Mars is 21 microsieverts an hour. Honestly, I think we should stop trying to colonize Mars because it's suicide. Let's just say how it is. It's suicide. Mars has a radiation that every single year, if you spend a year on Mars, you would have exceeded 2.5 times the United States' recommended radiation exposure for its nuclear workers. You're only allowed to get, as a radiation worker, you're only allowed to be exposed to 50 millisieverts a year. And on Mars, you're going to get roughly 265 millisieverts every single year. That is a tenth of the kill dose that you need. And I'm pretty sure 100 millisieverts is the lowest dose confirmed linked to cancer. See? Radiation linked to cancer. 10 to 50 millisieverts for a single acute radiation exposure. And 50 to 100 millisieverts for prolonged. So, like, if you take 10 to 50 apparently at a very short time, or 50 to 100 millisieverts for a very, 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 very long time, then you're just, that apparently is a risk of cancer. Dude, cancer is insidious. Cancer is weird because I was taking my biology class in college. Cancer, if I'm not wrong, is immortal. But, so what I learned in college, cancer cells, apparently, there is this chemical in your cell where there's a certain amount, and once it runs out, your cell dies. And this is really necessary. That way your body keeps recycling and getting more cells. But cancer says no, and it just literally keeps making its own version of this chemical. So, and I'm not a medical expert, but I've learned this from biology, like cellular biology. It literally doesn't die from aging. And that's scary in my opinion. To a certain degree, it's immortal. I've had relatives die of cancer. I think everybody has, and that sucks. Insidious disease. Apparently, biological men are 1 in 2 chance in lifetime will get cancer, and biological women will get 1 in 3 chance of cancer. And if I'm not wrong, the reason for this is that men, we have the XY, and, well, the women have the XX. Well, guess what? So, apparently what I was taught here is that, check this out. So guess what, right? So what is the XX and XY? The XX, XY refers to the end of a karyotype. A karyotype is a demonstration of the chromosomes. And I'm fairly sure what these are called chromatids. These are called chromatids. This, oh god, they can't see it. Oh my gosh, you can't even see that either. Where's the damn marker? Come on, marker, where did you go? Yeah, so we men, we have the freaking short end of the damn stick. So apparently, if you're a biological woman, look like this, XX. Biological men, XY. Well, here's the thing. Let's say if you're a man, right? If this karyotype, if you're a woman and this karyotype fails, guess what? We got this little karyotype right here to fix it. We have these right here, but here's the thing. Right? We have, if this chromatid fails, the body can actually use this to fix it. If this one fails, this to fix it. But guess what? If this one fails, We don't have anything to refer back to it, now don't we? And that's what we call shit out of luck. Now, how long is it going to take for anybody to come into my chat and start screaming about, get the hover pack, get the hover pack? And if I'm not wrong, the most common cancer that you get from radiation, if I'm not wrong, is leukemia, blood cancer. Why does it keep dropping bombs? Also, update, we've confirmed that we have a pure, an impure, and a normal node of sulfur. We're going to attempt to play with the trains. That's 600 meters up. Also, I've spoiled myself a little bit. Apparently, the most complex item in this game is something called... I forgot the name. It is something called... Oh, wait, I already have that. I know what it looks like. Little rocket thing. But yeah, so I have to think that Caterium is 100% gold or something else. I don't know about compounds. If it were like a compound like pyrite, pyrite I don't think is malleable like gold is. I'm working ahead stepping. No, don't say sorry. No, don't say sorry. Do not say sorry. You got a job to do. No. How dare you step away from your work to not watch my stream when you have a paid job? No. We're not doing that shit here. Like, bro, you have a job. I mean, you gotta work, I guess. I'm not gonna blame you. No. Oh, everybody like, oh man, you're so alone. It's Illinois. I live out in the. I live 5 miles from the nearest town. I live so far out that when you hear a gunshot, it's like average day. I'm not kidding you. A gunshot out here is an average day. I am literally used to being lonely. Alright. Here's what's gonna roll down. We're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells right there. Fun fact. If you run... Actually, it, I'm about to say, unless it's like all 100% overclocked, when you're unpacking the fuel from a refinery that makes packaged dilute fuel, you need one packer for every refinery, and it scales. So if you have a refinery that's 2.5 times a fully overclocked refinery, you can feed it to a fully clocked packaged unfueled packer, and it'll work. I'm not gonna lie, I got like this far done until I'm like, screw this blueprints, and I did it. It's mostly centered. I was wondering what I was gonna do, but yeah, let's So here's the great thing about this: we can do a 6 to thing. And by the way, this right here is the package recycling line. So this is so cool. The packages will cycle down here. This is actually kind of like this is what I call an interlude. Give me a second. I'm playing on a persistent server with 2 other dudes. I can't get them to adopt blueprints or transports. They just use belts. You know what? Listen, I'm a very big belt guy, but I'm going to initiate the transition over into rail carts. Because, you know what? Here's the thing. The belts are cheap. The belts have no energy, but here's a problem I see. I have a PlayStation 5, and even with that, I don't want it to lag. Simple. See this? There's an interloop right here. So, like, I just find it as a, you might be wondering, you might know what I mean by, like, loop. You know, I'm gonna leave in about an hour, so I better go charging the thing. By the way, have you ever heard of a 1981 game called Atari Tempest? Dude, I love Atari Tempest. My score is 74,000. I looked at trivia, and apparently in a series called Ready Player One, which I've actually watched the movie. The movie's amazing. The high score this one guy got in Tempest was like 732,000, which is ludicrously high for Tempest. Trust me, I know how high it is. Apparently the highest is like 950,000. That's insane, by the way. So of course, as I've mentioned before, I love Ready Player One. Dude, 732,000 points for a Tempest score is absolutely insane. Okay, so yeah, the containers will flow down there. Isn't this a beautiful system? The good thing is that I have little wings of 3 of these machines here. Ooh, I have an idea. You know what I could do? I could build one more layer to this, each one of these buildings, and build a battery floor. I could build a battery bay on top of this. Beautiful. I'm gonna need plates. I'm in charge of electronics factory. Dude, Satisfactory server sounds ballin'. You know what I would do if I could play with my cousin? I would separate him and see what factories we both can build and make like, not like compete, but like kind of like build like little lines between our factories and like cooperate. That'd sound fun. Spire Coast. I wonder where the Spire Coast would be. Like this? I'm assuming. Rocky desert and mountains. That beauty. Huh. A little bit treacherous to build there. However, this area presents an extreme amount of water. You definitely have a great advantage in terms of water. That spot would be a great idea to train in materials and use. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up. This is the nature of streams. It takes a second for the servers to process this data and send it over to my way. The lowest you will get is probably about 8 to 10 seconds. That's it. Alright, so this is what a wing of that would look like. I'm only hosting. In my hosting area idea, there would be a role, so we have responsibilities. Want to hear? Cool. Tell me. I'm really glad to say again. This is that little experiment over there. It is a smaller spot segment to maybe something much bigger, but this is working. This buffer end is great. It's Look at this. There's also some oil right here, but I lack the tech to extract it. Can we also agree that this looks way better than my previous refinery cell? Dude, one of my refinery cells was as big as half of one of these floors. Just remember that. I don't know why I keep doing this when I literally have a scaffolding elevator. Save the biofuel. Save the time. This builder, so the initial start, as we unlock technologies, we would claim responsibilities over parts. That's a very great idea. Like for example, look at this. There's 3 parts. The frames, modular engines, and whatever the hell the last thing is. If you have 3 people and you're each going on one part.
Any self-respecting factory needs an elevator.
Sure. Anyway, having one person do each one, that's a very great thing. And you know what? You probably are ahead of me when I say this, but if I were you, I would build railroads or belts like a mail system, like a mail-in system where you can mail stuff to other things. Like, for example, hey, can you send me some rotors? And you know, your homie could hop on that belt and send you some rotors. depots for? I have a simple fix for this. Nice. That sounds fun. They rebuild any of our factories as they... Interesting. Ready? There we go. So you could basically say, like, they are... I have a more professional name. What about foreman of transport? Or leader of transport? You know what you should do between your bases? You should make accelerators. Because I found out if you put accelerators and you like hook them up to a tube, you can go as fast as you can, but instead of going flying through the air, you can just go through your tube system rapidly. Yeah, energy manager. Yeah, that's cool. You should probably start well, tell your power manager to start getting over here to Long Beach. Let's say, yeah, you could easily wrap a line over here. So I wonder where your other friends are. Because imagine this. You can actually travel over here, and you can make a power line around here. One that skips through over here and crimps to there. And then over here, you can make a power line that goes up here and way over there. Hopefully they have a radiation suit to do that. Boy, oh boy. wonder why that one clips through. Okay, I know it sounds dumb, but I'm gonna rework this manifold system. Actually, I know I probably have OCD. I know not to decorate until I get then. Yes, it is. What if we just... I'm gonna go put some stuff away before I keep going. Do, do, do. Hey, top equals left. Ah! That's a good idea, is placing them above, like snapping one above, and then... Have a nice one, man. Can't wait to go to school today. Meteorology! Actually, the town I'm going to is where my radar is. Better idea. Alright, there we go. That's reworked. It's actually a bit more compact. How's it going? I'm sorry if you got no nickels yesterday. I was busy. I had a job interview. Honestly, we're gonna have to start lowering the amount of nickels we do. Actually, shit, I need to get my rolls, my wrappers. Any mail? No mail? I gotta be on my phone for a bit because I'm at any moment between now and the end of this week, I could get the answer to whether I get my job or not. I'm not really much of an expert on like specific pricing on most coins. I don't know. I guess you could probably see. It depends on its wear. If it's like really worn, you might expect a price of like maybe like in the ballpark of like $50. I can imagine that hole through that cent reduces the price on it heavily. There you go. There's the manifold for... That is the manifold for all of the fuel things. Okay, I know it sounds stupid, but, yeah, I'm gonna reverse it. What should I pay for? I honestly don't know. I am not familiar with the prices of foreign currency and numismatics. Apologies. Okay, now we just need to connect this.
Being an elevator AI has its ups and downs.
Oh my god. And I might build a roof here, and I might hang up all these belts. There you go. Now the cycle is built. Does it always say dumbass joke? What? Yeah, it does. Okay, so there, that's where all the fuel comes up. Then the fuel comes from down there. Uh-oh. Alright, all that fuel goes up, undumps itself, and then after those cans are dumped, the cans are emptied and they flow down those belts and they go right there. I'm not gonna do this 5 to 6 bullshit that I was about to do. Then the final cycle. Let's see, ready? Okay, so first the cycle takes the empty cans. Hold on. First, we take the empty cans and they are turned into packed water. The packed water is then turned into dilute packaged fuel. The packaged fuel is then unpacked and turned back into empty canisters, and the cycle will repeat itself over and over and over again. We've got the packaged fuel to empty cans. We've got the packaged water to we got the empty cans to packaged water. Now I see to make the packaged water to by dilute fuel, which is what we're doing now. You know what's cool? I've actually been to a Journey concert, and I even have a vinyl. This facility, this room right here, it will produce packaged canisters of water. This one. Ooh. Oh, look how gorgeous this is. I got it in Peoria, Illinois. Dude, it's still in the original packs. I have not opened this because I want to preserve it until I can actually get a record player. I need to build like some crates where you can insert some empty canisters to inject into the system. queen. Oh. Oh! Damn, that could have been disastrous right there. Look at this. This wasn't even connected. I don't know. I've never played it. Alright guys, I'm gonna go because I'm gonna go to my my college, which it's a very long way away. Anyway, thanks for watching. If I do come back tonight and I do some work, I'm gonna have to find a way to weave around all that stuff I made. I'm gonna have to distribute the water cans into the fuel maker refineries. Another thing is that I need to repower it. I need to put the power system, and that's technically all the production for the turbo fuel. Then after that, I need to build all the generators, which will be a pain in the ass. So I'd say we're getting pretty close to getting done. Peace out, guys.